James wasn't anyone special. At least, that's what he told himself. He lived in a small town, worked an ordinary job, and followed the same routine every day. Wake up, go to work, come home, watch TV, sleep. It wasn't a bad life, but it wasn't a remarkable one either. One day, as he walked home from work, he noticed an old, abandoned plot of land, overgrown with weeds and littered with broken glass. It had become an unofficial dumping ground. People walked past it without a second thought. It was an eyesore, but no one seemed to care. James did something unusual that evening. He stopped. He stood there, staring at the mess, feeling something stir inside him. He didn't know why, but he decided to pick up a single piece of trash. Just one, a crumpled soda can. He tossed it into a nearby bin and went home. The next day, he did it again. Another piece of trash. Then another. It became a habit. Every day after work, he picked up one more piece. After a few weeks, the garbage pile began to shrink. The weeds still grew wild, but at least the land wasn't buried in trash anymore. One evening, as James bent down to grab an old plastic bag, he heard a voice behind him. "What are you doing?" He turned to see an elderly woman watching him. Her eyes were kind but curious. He shrugged. "Just cleaning up a little." She smiled. "It's nice to see someone care." The next day, she joined him. She brought a small rake and helped clear the weeds. A few days later, a teenage boy from the neighborhood showed up with a trash bag. Then a young mother and her daughter. Before long, a handful of people were meeting at the empty lot every evening, each contributing in small ways. James never asked for help. He never told anyone to join him, but they did anyway. One afternoon, he arrived to find someone had planted a row of flowers along the edge of the lot. A few weeks later, another person built a simple wooden bench. Soon, the once abandoned space transformed into a small, beautiful garden. James sat on the bench one evening, watching as a little girl chased a butterfly through the flowers. The elderly woman sat beside him. She smiled. "It's amazing, isn't it?" He nodded. It was. He had never meant to start anything. He had never planned to change the lot. He had just picked up a single piece of trash. But small actions have a way of growing. One piece became two. One person became many. And something forgotten became something beautiful. James still didn't think he was anyone special. But as he watched the garden bloom, he realized something. You don't have to be special to make a difference. You just have to care enough to start. The twist. Sometimes the biggest changes come from the smallest actions. What seems insignificant at first can grow into something remarkable. The moral: you don't need grand gestures or big plans to make a difference. Sometimes, all it takes is one small step in the right direction.